right, guys, welcome back to another edition of Texans Unfiltered, a Houston football podcast for your Houston Texans. I am Young Ari Gold, and I'm with my guy, John Wade. John, what's going on?
Not too much, man. How are you feeling? How are you feeling right now just as a Texans fan?
Oh, yeah. No, I feel good. I mean, I think there's some things I'm still concerned about, but the team's 5-1. You can't complain.
You would think.
Well, people will complain. You can't complain about being 5-1. I would say, I get, I don't know, people are super it's like they complain about the wrong things. The run game, so exciting. It's like take away those 3 big runs and you average, I think it was 1.4 yards per carry or something like that. There's still a ton of questions around this team and what it looks like. But at the end of the day, like we said last week, come January, nobody cares how you won in October, September, November. It's about getting better. And I do think that they're getting better every week, which is exactly what you want from this team. D'Amico Autry coming back now. There's lots of things to be optimistic about. The Mario Edwards thing, I get it. People are like, oh my God, but you could probably sign another Mario Edwards today.
I don't know. He was playing pretty well.
He was.
But, of course he was playing well and then gets suspended. There's 2 camps right now of Texans fans. There's the Sunshine Pumpers that, they fully drank the Kool-Aid, and they're right. And there's the doom and gloomers that are like, it's going to all fall apart. And they're right, too. I mean, that's the beauty of football right now. Both sides are right. You can be super optimistic. This is the most fun that probably ever that you really should have watching the Texans. We're winning. It might be stressful, but it's fun. But they're winning.
Yeah.
And then the doom and gloomers are manage your expectations. Yeah, y'all are always right. That's the nature of it. Unless you were the Patriots for about 20 years, your team was going to lose at some point.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's most likely what's going to happen now. So yeah, it's easy to always be doing gloom because you can sit there and the Texans can make it all the way to the AFC Championship game and you get to say, see, I was right. They didn't win the Super Bowl. Because that is so hard to do. So just enjoy the game, enjoy what's going on. Enjoy the fact that we are 5-1. How insane is that?
It's pretty insane.
I mean, maybe we shouldn't.
It's not what I expected.
Maybe we shouldn't have won every game that we have, but we did.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy when they win. So, enjoy it, roll with it, take it for what it is. Right now, CJ Stroud is special. CJ Stroud is absolutely special. Yes, there's still room to grow there, but he is something else. And then of course, what happened with Mario Edwards sucked, but our defense as a whole, look at Will Anderson just go off. I don't care if that was a rookie quarterback. 3 sacks in a game, you get to be proud of that.
Yeah, overall, obviously CJ Stroud, it's one of those things that I saw. I forgot who it was, but I forget his username, but anyways, he's a good friend of mine, and he was like, I get to wake up every day understanding that CJ Stroud is my quarterback, and that alone is enough of a reason to kind of kill the doom and gloom. I don't understand how you're doom and gloom when you have CJ Stroud as your quarterback and he's only in his 2nd year. And and it's so funny. We talked about, I don't know what week it was. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were talking about, it was after the Slowick complaint game. Everyone was Slowick. And I was like, well, CJ's also got things that he needs to improve on and do. And then that same day we released the episode, he's on Pat McAfee talking about how there's certain things that he's seen in college, but he didn't see it as much. And there's things that they're throwing at him that he's not used to seeing yet and that he has to adapt. And it's come on, guys. I'm telling you, let the kid evolve, let him develop, let him play. He's going to get better. And he's doing that. And he's also working with a 2nd-year offensive coordinator. There's just lots of things that are still being worked out and ironed out. And the team where they're at, Will Anderson, great game on Sunday. That was that for anybody that was against trading up for Will Anderson, that game gave the people who were totally for it the ability to come at you and be like, this is why you traded to go grab Will Anderson, was because he's a game changer on the defensive line. Hunter had a great game. All the things that needed to happen on Sunday happened. There were still some things. Obviously, Stingley got beat once. That was a big deal. Everybody talking about how bad Stingley is. Hilarious to me.
I think it was more shocked that the rookie could do that. the rookie quarterback could do that. I think that on Stingley, like I'm just gonna give him, like you're
Ball
kind of in your
placement.
head, you're just kind of in your own head. Like, I mean, he's probably just like, yeah, whatever. This kid can't make that throw, and then he makes the throw, and it's like, oh shit, he made
Drake
the throw.
made like 2 throws where I was just like, interesting. Derek Classen gave him like the throw of the week on one of the touchdown passes. I mean, Drake May had some very, very good passes. You know what I mean? Like he looked very, very good, and he looked very, very bad at times. But I mean, it's against a rookie quarterback, you did what you were supposed to do. You won the game. Ultimately, that's all that matters. This next stretch is going to be an interesting Green Bay. That's going to be an interesting game. Jordan Love is playing out of his mind as well.
And I mean, they were able to make Malik Willis look like a competent and above average quarterback. I know that there's a team that has another quarterback that would love to have Malik Willis right now as their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Based on what Green Bay was able to do with them. So you got to give Green Bay and their staff all the credit in the world. There's a lot of ability there to get the most out of their players. So yeah, it should be an absolute nerve-wracking game. Like, do I expect to go in there and get rolled like the Vikings? I don't expect that. Is that something that could happen? Absolutely.
That defense isn't stopping our offense the way the Vikings stopped us. So that's going to be a little different, which is one thing that you have in your corner compared to what happened in Minnesota. So, I mean, I feel pretty confident about the offense and what will happen. It's the defense that probably concerns me. I wonder if this is a game where we kind of get exposed in certain areas. LaFleur is a very, very good coach. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to air out some of the things that we don't do well. And but at the end of the day, it should be a really good game. Is this a primetime game or is this a 12 o'clock game?
It's just a 12 o'clock game.
12 o'clock game. Yeah. I mean, Green Bay's, Jordan Love is maybe playing like he's playing like a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, I don't understand why they can't flex this game.
I would. You would think they would.
This is probably going to be the game of the week. Like I'm excited about it. Honestly, like the Packers and the Lions, we still got to play the Lions like
on Sunday night.
Yeah,
it's a Sunday night game.
That is a Sunday. Yeah,
they just trounced the Cowboys.
And I think there's not a single team in the AFC that kind of scares me.
No,
but the Lions and the Packers, honestly, in my opinion, are the 2 scariest games we have left this season.
What's the remaining schedule?
We've got Packers, Colts, Jets, Lions, Cowboys, Titans, Jaguars, Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens, Titans, Bears, Steelers, Giants, Rams.
That Chiefs game is going to be the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That game, and especially that late in the season. Oh man. Yeah, I would say Lions, Packers, Chiefs are the 3 games remaining where I bet the Texans they win 1 or 2 of those games.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up losing 1 or 2 of the games that they shouldn't win. They shouldn't lose.
Well, I mean, the Jets, like whenever you have to go to MetLife, because that field is evil. That field just takes souls. There's a reason why both the Jets and the Giants haven't been able to maintain consistency because, you play on MetLife, you're going to get hurt.
Yep.
Especially a wet MetLife.
I'm not worried about the Jets, though.
I'm not worried about the Jets as a team.
Devontae Adams, Devontae Adams.
That team is a
Aaron Rodgers
mess. Like,
it's an Aaron Rodgers
mess.
mess.
Like Salah's probably not on our staff in any official form or factor, but he's probably calling D'Amico, especially after how they let him go. So, as you got to remember, Salah was one of the first guys that D'Amico Ryans reached out to get into coaching.
Yeah.
So that there's some text messages going back and forth to get ready for the Jets. So the Jets as a team do not scare me. The stadium.
I know.
I mean, look at last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, why do we have to go back? We were just there. Like
it's like one of those. I don't know. I don't worry about things you can't control. You got to play at MetLife. There's a chance the injury happens. It happens almost every week. I feel like at MetLife. So it's one of those things where you have to.
It's how they used to talk about NRG. Like,
it is
with the old turf.
It is.
It's the same thing. Their turf is bad. People get hurt. It's how it used to be with us.
Yeah.
That's probably why. Well, not probably. It is why the Texans during that run didn't have as many wins as they should. Is because that turf was going to take out a key player, and now the Jets and Giants are dealing with it with MetLife. That turf is going to take out a key player. I just hope it's not one of ours. Last year, it's the game that took out Stroud, where he ended up getting a concussion, and we had to run with Case Keenum for a couple of weeks.
Can you put a concussion on MetLife though?
Well, I'm not saying that that's where it happened.
It's just where it happened. Okay.
So I mean, conveniently, and that's also
Yeah,
it. Also
yeah.
took out Nico last year,
Yeah.
and so we lost Stroud and Nico in the same game, and yeah, that made a difference. But we were overachieving last year, and we got to play a couple of horrible teams towards the end, so it didn't matter. But this year, I mean, if it kind of scares me because it sets us up for the Lions right afterwards. I just want to get out of the Jets game healthy, and we've kind of talked about it. We're going to lose 3 or 4 games easily the rest of the year. Like that's the expectation. Actually, at one point, like I was expecting us to go like 12-5, and so at this point we would have to lose 4 games. There's not 4 teams that outright scare me. There's 3 teams that 3 games that from a talent standpoint. Like I think they'll be great games. I'm not terrified. Like we can beat the Lions. We can beat the Packers. We can beat the Chiefs. But they don't terrify. They don't scare me. But those are the 3 games where you look at the players and you're like, okay. And don't forget the Ravens, especially if Derrick Henry continues to be.
Do we play the Ravens?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, the Ravens are probably the most scary team left on the schedule.
Right. So don't forget that Derrick Henry has become immortal. So yeah, we expect to go 2-2. We could go 0-4, and it's not the end of the world. If you
go 0-4, it's the end of the world.
No, it's not.
Against the top teams in the NFL, that lets you know where the season's going to go most likely. Could you correct it? Yes, but losing 0-4 to the best teams on your schedule and only beating the shitty teams. No, that absolutely gives
we
you
end up going
12-5,
and then like you said, we're in the dance,
and that's all that matters.
And we've got a good seed at 12-5. But legitimately, like if I was going to bet money,
you might not have a good seed at 12-5.
If I was betting money,
Baltimore and Kansas City likely 1-2.
Yeah, and
so
do you think anybody in our division is going to come up?
No.
Yeah, we're still going to have. We'll probably be the 3 seed at that point.
Yeah, I think we'll be the 3 seed.
And that's if we just shit the bed and lose to all 4 of those teams. And we shouldn't. Like, just the nature of football, we shouldn't.
Right now, if you were to pick the 2 that you'd lose, the games that you'd lose to those 4, which one would it be? I'm going to go Baltimore.
Baltimore, because Baltimore has our number.
Yep.
All I want is seeding to kind of shake out. So the way that it shakes out, that the next time we play Baltimore afterwards would be in the AFC Championship. And then I would feel really good about making it to the AFC Championship. We proved last year that we can play with the Chiefs. We match up well against them. So the Lions, I know that they're dealing with a couple of injuries. Losing Hutcherson, like that's gonna broken leg. Like that's heartbreaking for them because, I mean, dude, the way they
was on a tear.
Dude, they were
on a tear.
Straight up fucking with the Cowboys. Yeah, pull your starter? Nah, dude. We're gonna run some trick plays.
It's gonna
go out there and just mess around with them.
Quinnen Williams is a name I'd start to watch around the trade deadline to see what the Lions do.
Yeah,
there's going to be a defensive lineman likely that wants to get moved. I would not be surprised if the Lions are big players at the trade deadline to find a way to replace that production. You can't replace the production, but you can at least add a player that can help alleviate some of that production. Yeah. But they are going to be buyers at the trade deadline, if I had to guess.
So prior to Hutchinson getting hurt, they were the team that scared me the most. Now, I mean, I think we can keep up with them offensively, and he is such a key person on that defense. But I do like the Lions. Like
I like the Lions too. I like watching them play. I like their offense. I like Campbell. I like everything about them.
I give the Packers just a little bit more fear. So it'd be the Packers and the Ravens for me.
Interesting. I would say I think we can beat the Lions because I think even though I like Dan Campbell, I think D'Amico's a better coach than Dan Campbell. But I'll tell you what, those weapons on offense are that they have compared to like the Packers, the Chiefs, even the Ravens, like Jameson Williams, Jameer, like St. Brown, like they have some guys, man. Hawkinson is coming back, like. There are some guys that are like there. And Jahmyr Gibbs.
Laporta, don't forget.
Laporta.
He's probably like the next Kelsey.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Hawkinson. I meant to say Laporta, but yeah.
Like he's probably like the next big tight end. Like Last year he was only a rookie, which
I was high on Laporta coming out. That was the one tight end I thought that we would go after. But yeah, I mean, you just look at their roster and you're like, on the offensive side, the Lions are a scary team. The Packers don't scare me from a weapons perspective.
They scare me from a coaching standpoint.
They scare me and a quarterback standpoint. A guy who just like Stroud has very good ball placement, very high football IQ, like just a good quarterback, and then pair the great coach with it. And that's always a scary dynamic. If you were to pick like the scariest dynamics, and if you look at the teams that are winning, it's typically great coach, great quarterback. Those two go hand in hand. So if you look at Baltimore, great coach, great quarterback. Kansas City, great coach, great quarterback. Texans, good coach. We'll see about great quarterback. Packers, great quarterback, great coach. So there's a theme in the NFL that shows you what the recipe is to be consistently a winner. And I would agree. I think that the LaFleur, Jordan Love aspect, it's a big aspect.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, because you just wonder, what would Aaron have done had he just killed his ego and said, I'll do whatever you guys need me to do to be the best quarterback for you. And you can't do it, because he's just such an ego-driven individual, and he's such a narcissist, even though he pretends not to be.
What LaFleur has done with Malik Willis, like when you watch those games, like that made me truly appreciate how good of a coach he was.
Yep.
Because we watched Willis with the Titans, and he just looked lost.
Oh yeah.
My parents are season ticket holders for the Titans.
Or watching it,
and they were just like, please don't ever let us watch Malik Willis play quarterback for the Titans. They were terrified of having him as their quarterback.
Yep.
He goes up to Green Bay, and you know what? Green Bay is still probably a top-tier team with him as the quarterback for the entire season.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love, like I remember watching him a few years back. It was only preseason, but he was like year 2 at the time. Like he wasn't a rookie.
No.
And he's had arm talent, but he just didn't look like he was going to be anything.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, people are talking about like him and CJ Stroud are the next two.
I agree.
Those are going to be the next two rivals at the quarterback position for the guys that are passers, and that's just, it's eye-opening what they've done. I think they're the team that scares me. I think the Lions just have it riches upon riches of talent. Like they're even losing Hutchinson, like they're still an elite tier team.
Yeah.
But that loss just brings them down a little bit in my mind.
Yeah. No, I
have to choose two.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's funny to think about the CJ Stroud component, just how good he is. Like when you look at Jordan Love too, and then you're just like, wow, like, I mean, we really have, in my opinion, we have the best quarterback in the league behind Mahomes. And if you took away Andy Reid, do you have the best quarterback? You might. I don't know, because we won't know what Mahomes looks like without Andy Reid.
You also take away Kelsey.
Well, yeah, but Kelsey's already shown like this year, like he's
right.
He's
but no,
down,
I'm talking about that.
But that's a security blanket that most quarterbacks never have. The best tight end changes the whole thing.
Mahomes had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey during his developmental years. So when all he really had to do was either throw it over the middle or throw it deep.
Yeah.
And which allowed him to learn. And now he's a much more complete quarterback. Like he may not do as many things that are just absolutely eye-popping right now, but he is a better quarterback than when he first started out. And that's because he had those weapons to kind of learn and lean on.
Yeah.
And the thing about CJ Stroud that you have to give him all the credit, like Nico Collins has transformed into the best receiver in the league.
Yep.
But a good portion of that is because of the guy throwing him the ball.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Where do you want to go next?
Oh, I just made my point. We're again lucky with Stroud, and that's not to say that he can't roll out to his left. Okay, like that's one of the hardest things for any quarterback to do is to go their opposite direction. But that's really his only weakness. Like you look at his passing charts, you look at the passing cutups. Like Stroud is really something special. So yeah, we know that. We can say that for probably 45 minutes straight if we wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think doing this episode makes me realize that since we're recording on a Wednesday, we should probably just do like 5 to 10 minutes recap of the previous week and then just look into the next game. just thinking about it out loud here. But yeah, interesting. So yeah, I mean, with the Texans playing the Packers, this is going to be an interesting dynamic in Lambeau too, which is, I mean, it's not one of those tough places to play, but it's a tough place to play. Like in November or in October, you're probably okay. In November, December, it's a little bit of a different beast depending on the weather. Expectations for this week, I do think that we can slice up their defense. I think Stroud has a good game. You also have to think of the component of Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. It's hilarious because this is just, it's just how the NFL works now. David Mugoleta is Jordan Love's agent and CJ's agent. So those two know each other really well. They do a lot of different things. They were here in Austin a couple weeks back for an event at a restaurant as bartenders and waiters. So they definitely have like a friendship and a dynamic that always makes like the storyline of the two quarterbacks against each other always an intriguing thing. So yeah, I mean, I think CJ is a better quarterback than Love, but I think it's going to come down to the coach, and it kind of goes back to one of the things that we talked about when D'Amico was hired: defensive-minded head coach, offensive-minded head coach. The league seems to be going towards offense, been going towards offense for a while now. Is that an upper hand for Matt LaFleur compared to D'Amico, or can D'Amico move the chess pieces needed to be able to show that like a defensive-minded head coach really can offset how good of offensive-minded head coach is? It's just interesting. It's going to be an interesting dynamic because there's just lots of good storylines going into this game. And I wouldn't be surprised, if you see one of those little Sunday morning specials where, they have the 40-minute conversation and all these things, because it is the game of the week. I mean, absolutely is the game of the week. It's going to be a fun one. I can't wait to watch it.
Again, this is just great time to be a Texans fan. Like all the national coverage we get. Like, remember the past few, well, not last year, but the years previous to that, like the shows didn't even talk about us.
No, never.
All they would say was to pretty much pull up and just kind of laugh at us and then move on.
Yeah.
Or it was intrigue about where Deshaun was going into the trade. And now we're going to go to another weekend where a good 25% of the show, I bet you will be talking about the Texans and the Packers as a matchup.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Never have 5 cats and never have a dog, as I realize here. Yeah, no, it's going to be a really good matchup. This should be one of those games where, like,
have we ever won in Lambeau?
Yeah, we have. The only reason I know this because what was his name? Our field goal kicker, Chris. Oh, what was his name?
Bullock?
Yeah, no. That's Randy Bullock. Chris something. I don't know. He was our field goal. He hit a game-winning field goal in Lambeau. I think it was at Lambeau. Either that or it was at NRG. I'm pretty sure it was at Lambeau to win the game. I can tell you right now, actually. Texans win. Texans game winning field goal Packers. Yeah. Oh no, that's Fairbairn. They're showing that. Okay. No, they're all showing old ones. Game winning field goal, 59 yards. Texans, Bills. Packers they just don't want to they don't want to give us what it used to be.
They have played 5 times. We've only won once. However, the only time we did win was in Green Bay.
Yeah.
In 2008.
Yes. Who was the kicker? Texans kicker 2008.
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown. That's why.
How do we forget a name like that?
I was Chris just like, Brown. Man, I know for a
Chris
fact.
With a K.
Yeah, I know for a fact his name was Chris. Yeah, he won. It was a game-winning field goal. I don't know why I remember that, but I just do.
Yeah, 2008. How do you remember 2008?
I don't know.
I
think I was working that day. And
15 years ago?
I was working at the Panera Bread in Galleria. And
that's why. Yeah, I'm sure they...
Going to Berry Hill the tamale place, like to watch the game in between like working. And I remember just watching it. That was the day I met Adrian Peterson. Super weird. Just a random day. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, it's not exactly been a competitive series. We're one win. The first time we played them, we only lost by 3. Then we won by 3. Then we lost by 20. Then we lost by 8. And then we lost by 15 the last time. The last time we played them was that was the game where Savage in the red jerseys.
Yeah,
I remember that correctly.
Yep.
Where the jerseys looked good at least. Like there was a great uniform combo. We just didn't play that well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It should be a really good game. It's one of those like good tests. Like where is the team outside of like being 5-1? Like, are they in a place where they can compete with the good teams? Coming in, we looked at the schedule and we said to ourselves, like, this is gonna be a really hard schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And then things changed. Like Miami is now not really as scary as Miami was coming into the season, right? The Jags aren't really. They're going to fire their head coach after this next loss in London, right? Like
it's coming quick.
Oh, he's not going to get back on the plane. So the Jags are a fucking dumpster fire. The Colts continue to find a way to somehow stick around. I mean, they're not like great, but they're finding ways to win games, which is enough. And it's all you really need to do, considering Anthony Richardson's been out and they've been doing it with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, but worst case scenario is, Colts is that one of those two games that we lose that we shouldn't lose.
Right.
But we'll still have the
Is it Colts
early.
after Packers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so AR's back when we that's funny. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and then the Titans are just pure shit. They're a dumpster fire too. The Will Levis experience is over. For all you Will Levis guys that said that you were right, you should probably go bury and delete those tweets.
Oh,
because you guys are idiots. Never trust anybody when it comes to mayonnaise.
Well, you also his little Spider-Man celebration.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
pew, pew?
He was doing that whole
weird.
pew pew.
That's weird.
Like after they scored their first touchdown and they're still losing, it was like he was feeling himself.
Yeah,
and they still lost.
Yeah. Calvin Ridley. That locker room's blowing up. Who's their new head coach? What's his name?
I don't even know his name.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know So, anyways, the Titans are a dumpster fire. The Jags are an absolute dumpster fire. We have to start having the conversation about Trevor Lawrence being an absolute fucking bust. A bust.
Yeah.
Not just a bust. This guy's, for everybody that wanted him to look, he is not who you thought he was.
Well, everybody would. I think we were we were terrified when the Jaguars got him because he was supposed to be the next Andrew Luck. He was supposed to be the next.
I hate that phrase.
Hate
that phrase because it's true.
That's
what they use. They say it. But that does not happen as often as it's every 2 years. That's the next Andrew Luck.
Right.
Stop saying that. That's not true.
Well, I mean, that's how they got to hype these guys up.
No, stop.
You're always looking for the next.
You set the kid up to fail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All it does is apply more pressure to this kid. Andrew Luck, bro? Are you joking?
Trevor Lawrence was like the #1 rated college prospect ever.
Which is stupid. I don't know how they rated that. I watched the same tape, bro.
What is it? It's the football guys all over Twitter.
I know.
Who keep making every excuse that possible for Trevor Lawrence.
I know, which is crazy.
Is it possible that sometimes he may have had all this potential, but sometimes people just don't get better at things?
Or, and this is something I don't like to question, he doesn't love the game. Because if you love the game, you want to develop, you want to get better. Will I say that going to the Jags hurt him? Absolutely. Absolutely. It did not help him. That's for sure. And maybe he's able to resurrect this. Maybe he goes on a Baker Mayfield run. Maybe, whatever. I don't know. But
gets a competent coach.
Yeah, gets a competent OC. Whatever may happen. There's a chance that he turns this around. I still don't think he is never going to. I think this is a fact. He is never going to meet the expectations that all of the draft analysts and Twitter football guys put out there on him. He's never going to meet those expectations ever.
Oh yeah,
that's gone.
Yeah.
So you are now just a regular quarterback.
He is an older player. I don't know if he's older in age than Darnold, but he's been in the league longer than Darnold, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. He reminds me of Lord Farquaad. I don't when I see his face, that's what I think. But yes, he's been in the league 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing that he needs a guy that comes in and speaks his language. Yeah, the physical skills are there. But I mean, he could probably be like an all-pro receiver. Like he is a really good athlete. He's just not a good quarterback.
Yep. Here's the team to watch for Trevor. You ready?
Okay.
The Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I mean,
They're going to get rid of Stefanski. They're going to get rid of Deshaun. I think the Jags will hire a new coach. They'll keep Trevor around for a year. He won't get it done. They'll let him go. Another team's going to want him. Cleveland's going to be in a situation where they need a quarterback because, God damn it, they can't afford anything after this. And Trevor Lawrence is going to be a Brown in 2026.
Okay, makes sense. I mean, Cleveland's going to do the whole trade a draft pick to dump a contract.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, like
can you believe this?
It's great.
Honestly, when the trade happened, did anybody see it ending like this?
Well,
this is the worst ending you can ever have on a trade in the history of sports. In the history of sports, not the NFL. You are a legit laughing stock of the entire genre of sports. You will never live this down. You are now way beyond whatever the Cowboys were with that trade. What was that trade? The Ricky Williams trade? No.
The Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker trade.
That set up the dynasty.
You guys are legitimately the laughing stock of an entire of all of sports.
Yeah. No, I mean
it is crazy.
It is one of those things that, as a Texans fan,
I feel bad for Browns fans.
We should. I mean, this is just taking it as an absolute win because it's the best scenario for us. Like, we ended up replacing him not with one star player, but two star players. Last year, I remember everyone was kind of like rooting that when he got hurt, it's like, oh, we're gonna get a better draft pick now. When it should have been the absolute opposite. We want him to stay healthy. We should have wanted him to stay healthy. He has been so bad for Cleveland that no other quarterback has ever performed as bad as him, as he has since he's gone to Cleveland.
This fucking guy is trash.
As bad as you think he is, he has 100% been worse. Go pull up the games and just watch it. If you're feeling sad, go watch.
It's great therapy, bro.
Dude, you'll look at the stats and you're like, oh, he's almost up to 50% completion. Like, okay. And then you go pull up the game and you're like, dude. And now they traded Cooper away.
Oh man, that says everything. That shows you it is time. It's happening. It's happening, bro.
And I mean, we even said it.
This is the Office meme. It's happening. It is happening right now. We are watching it happen.
Dumpster fire. And I mean, I remember even as a Texans fan, even when we were lauding how great Deshaun was, like, he never had the best pocket presence. No. Like, he would run into his own sacks.
Oh my God.
And
how about that report of Bill O'Brien?
Oh man.
I mean, for one, I'm a Bill O'Brien guy, so that was a great feather in my cap. But I mean, he legit made Deshaun Watson, and the film shows it.
Yes.
The film shows all of it. He is nothing without Bill O'Brien.
He made Bryce Young too.
Is Bill O'Brien the last savior? Like, will they try to pull him from, where's he at? Boston College?
Boston College is the head coach.
This is his first year. I doubt he leaves. But that is the only saving grace you have as a Browns fan. You're gonna have to deal with Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think they can do it. I don't think he'll do it.
No. Oh, I mean, depending on how much money they back up, but
Ohio does have great hospitals, though.
Yeah,
and so you got to keep that in mind. That's a big piece, and they do. They have a great medical care system. So,
but I would say this: we could not have asked for anything better than how this has worked out.
It's the best storyline possible.
And he's gotten even worse about running into sacks. Like, you could, I just watched a little bit of the game film, and to see Amari Cooper pretty much out there doing jumping jacks, waving for the ball. Deshaun Watson had a pocket, and then he decides to do a little twirly thing and run into a sack. Yeah. And it was just like, my heart grew 3 times bigger. Like, I just felt so happy.
I just don't.
This is what happiness in football feels like.
It sucks for that to be happiness, though. I mean, it really does.
It does.
Like, in the core of my shit.
Part of me is like, I hate being petty, but no, I don't. No, I'm
a petty king. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love petty. But the downfall of a man sucks. But then I always remind myself that downfall stemmed from you just being a fucking nasty motherfucker, dude. Also a shitty individual to the whole city. A shitty individual to the whole city.
Well, I mean, he just, what was it? Like, he locked his employees out at the cheesecake place, or Philly cheesesteak place. Like, it's
Lefties.
one thing if his downfall had been caused by injuries.
Yeah.
It's one thing that
It's
if
all
he had demanded
self-induced.
a huge contract and not play to it, like there's an ickiness that I would have felt being petty about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The fact that he's a monster, that he
Yeah.
ended up being a horrible person, and he has this sort of downfall.
Yeah.
Nah, dude. I'm enjoying
Imagine
this.
also, like, it's hilarious for Deshaun, but I mean, also think about the crew around him.
dude.
You know, during that whole saga, you tied your entire like existence to this dude.
Yeah.
You're known like you're a QB coach, but you're not known as a QB coach. You're known as Deshaun Watson's guy. You know what I mean? Like the PR guy. I'm just not going to. I'm going to refrain from saying names. You're associated with Deshaun for the rest of your life. Like
Right.
outside of David, who just did his job, the rest of these people who lifted him up during that entire process, that's what you're going to be known for too, because you're not known for anything else.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not known for anything else other than being associated with Deshaun. I don't know why. I just thought it like, what a fuck. That's gotta fucking suck.
No, I mean,
Fuck.
I mean, I wanted to go back to the Bill O'Brien thing. Like we
Oh, I
had said
love
many
Bill.
times that as long as he had been just a coach and not the GM, like he was a great coach. Deshaun Watson proves that. Bryce Young proves that.
Yeah.
So all the BOB hate, which I mean,
I
because
love
of
Bill
how he went
O'Brien.
as a GM, like he deserved it. He did some pretty
As a
dumbass
GM
things
for sure.
But as a coach, anybody that was shitting on him as a coach, y'all need to take a step back.
Yeah, no, agreed. It's awesome. It's great. And Bill O'Brien, I mean, look at what he's doing at Boston College too.
Oh, I don't know. What's he doing out there?
I mean, I don't know what the record is, but I mean, he's getting talked about every time I see anything Boston. He's on like the Wes Welker podcast or no Edelman podcast.
Of course,
people
he's
are
on the
talking
Edelman.
about people are talking about him. I think he must be doing okay in Boston College because he's being talked about. I could be wrong, but it seems like it at least started off good at the beginning of the college football season. Where are we at now? Awkward pause.
Conference 1-1, home 3-0, away 1-2. So
Yeah,
not horrible.
not terrible. Supposedly he's doing well with the quarterback, which makes tons of sense. It's so funny. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. We can get into it. I gotta go, but yeah, interesting.
I don't know why your internet's not working, but
My internet works. I was just using it.
oh, it's their website.
Yep, never my internet, bro. I have Google's literally internet. Like what you have in the Google office, I went and took and paid $2,000 to ensure that my wireless internet never goes down.
Nice.
All right, guys, that's about it. Texans win or lose?
I mean, we got to lose sometimes. If we're gonna
6-1,
no,
5-2.
we're gonna lose. We're gonna go to
We're gonna
5-2. We got to lose sometimes.
Are we gonna lose like the Minnesota game?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the Minnesota game was one of those games that kind of humbled the Texans a little bit to understand that if they don't bring their A game, that they can get punched in the mouth.
For sure.
I think that if we're gonna lose, like, I would rather lose to this Packers team than the Jaguars or the Colts or something like that that's coming up. So, and I mean, they've got to lose.
Yeah,
It's
they
gotta
have
happen.
to lose. I don't know. I go back and forth. I have a feeling they win this game. And then I think some things happen, and maybe we see a loss or two.
Yeah.
But I think they match up well against the Packers. It'll be interesting to see. This is a really good test for the defense.
Mhm.
This is probably one of the better tests for the defense than what we've had this year. I'm thinking back from an offensive perspective, who we've gone against. Who have we gone against that's like a high-powered offense? You haven't.
Yeah.
You haven't.
Well, I mean, what's strange about the Packers is they have probably one of the better offenses that we'll face this year. However, our defense is actually made to play them. Like, our defense should be able to give them fits, especially with Autry back and actually getting push up the middle. Just imagine how Williams and Hunter Anderson and Hunter are gonna feast with that push. So I'm not terrified. Like, I don't think we should be embarrassed, but they're a really good team.
Yeah.
It is at Lambeau.
Yeah.
So my expectation is this is the game we're going to lose. However, I will say this: if we beat the Packers, we're going to do something asinine like lose to the Jets.
Well, it's funny because I feel like that's the game that's circled for like.
Because it's a Thursday night game at that stadium. There's a chance because of the time of year that the weather's shit.
Second week of Devontae Adams. Like,
You
there's just
know.
so many storylines establishing, and it's like, and I hate to like write future storylines, but like this is how I see it going: beat the Packers, close game against the Colts, lose to the Jets. Next day, the talk is not of the Texans losing, but how the Jets and Aaron Rodgers overcame adversity and the
Exactly.
Devontae Adams trade and how it all worked. And this is the turning point for the Jets, and they're going to go on somewhat of a streak, and then the Jets are going to Jets. The Jets are the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets are, I hate to say it, but you're never going to be a functional franchise.
It's like
until that owner changes. Bill Belichick roasted you for 12 minutes.
Cut this clip because that's exactly what's going to happen.
That's exactly what's going to happen. So yeah,
that's going to be our show after the Jets game. Like holy shit, we have to talk about the fact that everybody's now talking about the Jets, and we're going to just be like, it's going to be some stupid ass reason why we lose to them too. Again, like the turf.
As long as there's no injury, I'm good.
Yeah.
As long as no injury.
We get out of the Jets games healthy. I'm happy.
I'm good. You can't win them all. All right. With that being said, I am Young Ari Gold signing off for Texans Unfiltered. This is John Wade. Make sure you guys go like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, tell them about us, talk about us. And with that being said, we'll catch you guys next week. Ooh.